Have you ever wondered which moments in history truly changed the world? From the fall of empires to the first steps on the moon, these events shaped the course of human civilization. Let's journey through 5 turning points that redefined everything we thought we knew. These are the events that changed the world forever. May 29th, 1453. The mighty walls of Constantinople. Once thought impenetrable, trembled as Ottoman cannons thundered. For over 1,000 years, the Byzantine Empire stood strong. But now, after weeks of brutal siege, the capital was about to fall. Sultan Mehmed II led his troops with unstoppable force. And as the sun rose, the Ottomans surged through the gates. The city fell. The last vestiges of the Roman Empire crumbled. The fall of Constantinople didn't just end an empire. It marked the beginning of the modern age. Trade routes shifted. Scholars fled west, bringing ancient knowledge that would spark the Renaissance. And the city itself. It was reborn as Istanbul, the beating heart of a new empire. In the quiet town of Mainz, Germany, a goldsmith named Johannes Gutenberg was about to change the world. In 1440, he created the printing press, a machine that could mass-produce books for the first time. Before this, every book had to be copied by hand. It could take a monk years to complete a single Bible. But with Gutenberg's invention, thousands of books could be printed in weeks. Knowledge exploded. Ideas crossed borders. Religions were challenged. Empires were questioned. The printing press gave birth to the Reformation, the Enlightenment, the scientific revolution, and modern education. It democratized information, and we've never looked back. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed west across the Atlantic with 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa. He was looking for a new route to Asia, but what he found instead was a continent unknown to Europeans, the Americas. This discovery triggered centuries of exploration, colonization, and cultural exchange. It reshaped the world map, launched empires, and set off waves of migration and conflict. For better or worse, the voyage of Columbus marks one of the most significant turning points in human history. It connected the old world to the new, and the world was never the same again. Paris, summer of 1789. The air is electric with rebellion. Tired of hunger, high taxes, and royal excess, the people rise. They storm the Bastille, a symbol of tyranny, and shout a single word: liberty. The French Revolution wasn't just a local uprising. It was a message to monarchs everywhere. The age of kings is ending. Its ideas like equality, freedom, and human rights were no longer dreams. They were demands. The guillotine fell. The king was executed. And the world watched as France tore down its monarchy and tried to build a republic. The revolution was messy, brutal, and often chaotic. But its ideas echoed across continents, sparking movements that still burn today. July 20th, 1969. Millions watched as a grainy, black and white image flickered on their TV screens. Neil Armstrong descended the ladder of the lunar module. And then, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The world held its breath. For the first time, humans were walking on the moon. It was indeed just a Cold War victory for the United States. It was a triumph of science, courage, and human imagination. The Apollo 11 mission reminded us that no dream is too big. It united the world in awe, even if just for a moment. The moon landing proved what's possible when we look up and dared to go beyond. November 9th, 1989. In the heart of Berlin, something incredible was unfolding. After decades of division, fear, and Cold War tension, people began to gather at the Berlin Wall. And then, without warning, the barriers opened. Families reunited, strangers embraced, hammers and hands broke down concrete. The Berlin Wall, the ultimate symbol of division, was crumbling. The fall of the wall didn't just reunify a city. It marked the collapse of the Eastern Bloc and the beginning of a new world order. It was the day the Cold War began to thaw, and freedom broke through the cracks. September 11th, 2001. A clear blue morning turned into one of the darkest days in modern history. 2 planes struck the Twin Towers in New York City. Another hit the Pentagon. A 4th crashed in Pennsylvania. The world watched in horror as smoke filled the sky and buildings fell. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost. The attacks changed everything, from how we travel to how nations protect themselves. It sparked wars, reshaped global alliances, and left a scar on the collective memory of a generation. But it also showed resilience. In the face of tragedy, people came together. Heroes emerged, and the world vowed to never forget. In 1347, ships arrived in Europe carrying something invisible and deadly. The Black Death had begun. Over the next 5 years, the plague would kill an estimated 25 million people in Europe alone. It's 1/3 of the entire population. Entire towns vanished, fields went untended. Fear gripped every corner of the continent. But out of this darkness came transformation. Labor shortages shifted power from nobles to workers. Citizen advanced, and society slowly rebuilt itself. The Black Death was a tragedy of unimaginable scale, but it also reset the balance of power and shaped the modern world in ways we are still uncovering today. June 28, 1914, Sarajevo. A single gunshot rang out, and the world would never be the same. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was assassinated by a young Serbian nationalist. What followed was a chain reaction of alliances, threats, and declarations of war. Within weeks, Europe was plunged into World War I trenches stretched for miles. Millions died. Empires collapsed. The war to end all wars didn't just reshape borders. It shattered the old world order. The assassination of a single man ignited a global conflict, proving just how fragile peace can be when the world is on edge. August 6, 1991, a British computer scientist named Tim Berners-Lee quietly launched something called the World Wide Web. No headlines, no applause, just a new way to connect information. But in the years that followed, the internet exploded, changing every aspect of how we live. From how we learn, shop, communicate, and even think, the digital age had begun. Today, billions of people are connected. Knowledge is instant. Ideas travel at the speed of light. The launch of the public internet is one of the most impactful events in human history, and we're only beginning to grasp its full potential. Throughout history, there have been moments, some planned, others accidental, that changed everything. These 10 events didn't just mark time, they shifted the trajectory of humanity. And while the past cannot be changed, remembering it helps shape the future. This has been Flashback Minute. If you want more powerful stories from history, don't forget to subscribe. The past is full of lessons, and we're just getting started.